The Detroit Lions have just put everyone on alert with new injury updates that could completely change the team's plans for the coming weeks. News about Alim McNeill, Kirby Joseph, Marcus Davenport, and Terrion Arnold is stirring up the locker room and raising a big question. Will the team be able to maintain the same rhythm with so many key players facing doubts and recoveries? Before we tell you the details of each case and what Dan Campbell just revealed about who could return and who is still expected to be out, like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That way, you'll continue to receive the latest on the Detroit Lions and won't miss any explosive updates like this. And that doesn't stop there. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions' newest signing. Starting with the case that concerns the coaching staff the most, Kirby Joseph. The safety has been playing with visible limitations in recent weeks, battling a knee injury that has been bothering him significantly. Dan Campbell got straight to the point, saying that Joseph's situation is very similar to that of Taylor Decker, who had to take time off to recover from his shoulder injury and return to playing at a high level. Campbell explained that the team is balancing three factors: how much Joseph can play today, how much this pain is affecting his performance, and, most importantly, how much this could compromise his long-term health. The coach admitted that Joseph gave his all in the last game, but acknowledged that he wasn't at his best and that the team will need to reevaluate the player's condition in the coming days. And the problem is that, with Brian Branch suspended, Detroit's secondary is increasingly lacking depth, which makes this decision even more delicate. Meanwhile, the news about Alim McNeill is a bit more encouraging. After a serious ACL injury last year, the defensive tackle has completed 2 weeks of intense practice since the Lions opened their 21-day reevaluation window. Campbell praised the player's recovery and said McNeill is physically ready, with his legs firm and showing great confidence. The coach even joked about his chances of playing against the Buccaneers, saying something like 48%, laughing as he admitted he's increasingly optimistic. The truth is, the mood in the locker room is hopeful, and if McNeill is indeed available, his presence could change the balance of the defensive line, an area where Detroit has struggled in recent games, especially against the opposing run game. Now, when it comes to Terrion Arnold and Avonte Maddox, the news is less encouraging. Both missed the game against the Chiefs, and according to Campbell, are also expected to miss the matchup against the Buccaneers. The coach was clear. They will likely only return after the bye week, which indicates the team will need to improvise again in the secondary. Arnold, who had shown remarkable progress as a rookie, and Maddox, who would be an important part of the rotation, are missing not only in passing coverage but also in the defensive versatility that Campbell values so highly. And when it comes to Marcus Davenport, patience must continue. The pass rusher spent 4 games on injured reserve and is now eligible to return to practice, but Campbell was realistic. He's not ready yet. According to the coach, Davenport has been progressing well, and the team is confident that by late November or early December, the defense will be much more complete. But for now, a return before the offseason is practically ruled out. The focus is on ensuring he returns 100% and not repeating the mistake of rushing players who aren't ready yet, something the Lions have paid dearly for in previous seasons. Finally, Malcolm Rodriguez is also still recovering, and the reason for the delay has become clearer. According to Justin Rogers of Detroit Football Network, the linebacker underwent a purging procedure on his ACL, which explains the delay in his return. Campbell stated that the team hopes to have Rodriguez back on training camp shortly after the bye week to begin a gradual recovery. These updates show that the Detroit Lions are at their physical limits, but still have great potential to bounce back in the coming weeks. The team has valuable players slowly returning, and if they can get through this difficult period without major drops in performance, they could be stronger than ever in the final stretch of the season. Now, I want to hear your opinion. Which of these injuries worries you the most, and which player do you think will make the biggest difference when they return to the team? Leave your comment below, and of course, don't forget to like it. Let's move on to the second update.
The Detroit Lions just surprised everyone with the move no one expected before their Week 7 matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It just happened, and it's already dominating the conversation among fans in Detroit. The team made significant roster changes, and one of them involves a veteran NFL player who could completely change the defensive dynamic. And before I tell you who this experienced addition is, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and activate the bell because here you'll always be among the first to know everything about the Detroit Lions. Now, let's get straight to the point. The team has officially announced the release of safety Laurent Strickland, who was on the 53-man active roster. Instead, the Lions are reorganizing the practice squad, bringing back offensive lineman Kingsley Equicone and defensive lineman Chris Smith, who had been cut days ago. But what really caught the eye and put fans on high alert was the arrival of a new experienced name to the practice squad, cornerback Kendall Fuller, a veteran with nearly a decade of experience in the league who could be a strategic asset in light of the injury crisis plaguing the team's secondary. Fuller, 30, arrives after a turbulent stint with the Miami Dolphins, where he missed 6 games in 2024 due to 3 separate injuries, including 2 concussions and a knee injury that ultimately landed him on the injured list. According to Dolphins Onside, this series of issues ultimately led to his release. Even so, the player has a respectable track record. He was selected in the 3rd round of the 2016 draft by the Washington Redskins, played for the Kansas City Chiefs, where he won a Super Bowl, and then returned to the Commanders before playing in Miami. In total, Fuller has started 104 NFL games, demonstrating experience and leadership, attributes that Detroit desperately needs right now. And the need to bolster the secondary is no coincidence. Dan Campbell's team is facing a veritable injury storm. Players like DJ Reed, Avonte Maddox, and Terrion Arnold have been dealing with physical issues that jeopardize the defense's consistency. Therefore, bringing in a veteran like Fuller, even if initially to the practice squad, is a way to pave the way for a possible quick activation should the situation worsen. He could be the kind of player who, with just a few practices, can get on the field and provide stability to a defense that has been suffering from a lack of consistency. But the story doesn't end there. In addition to the injuries, the Lions still have another significant issue to deal with: Brian Branch's suspension. The defensive back received a 1-week suspension, and even with an appeal scheduled, the coaching staff is already working with the assumption that he won't play. Dan Campbell spoke about the impact of this absence and was blunt. He's an exceptional player for us. When you lose someone you trust, who delivers so much on the field, the next guy has to step up. Everyone has to take on a little more of that responsibility, said the coach. He also made a point of mentioning names who could gain more playing time, such as young Thomas Harper, who recently entered the field and has been impressing in practice. He hasn't played much, but we've seen good things. We're fine with him being there. We'll play with what we have, the coach stated, expressing confidence that the group can hold its own while key players recover. Ultimately, what's happening in Detroit is a true race against time. The team is seeking balance, strengthening positions, and trying to prevent injuries from destabilizing the team's good form this season. And with the arrival of Kendall Fuller, the Lions show they're not just reacting, they're preparing for any scenario. The question is, does Fuller still have the gas in the tank to help this defense remain dominant? Leave your opinion in the comments. Do you think the Detroit Lions made the right move to sign a veteran like Kendall Fuller, or should the team look for fresh blood on the market? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like the comment section, as it really helps the channel continue to bring you the fastest and most comprehensive updates on our team. Until the next update, and as always, go Lions.